across this video and I want to know what this is.
This is a pretty nice hotel room. That is a massive bed.
I'm sorry, he's so funny. He's funny sometimes. You gotta admit, he's funny, okay?
G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Draw with Jazza. I'm Jazza.
What up, home slice?
And I'm here in San Diego. I've been here for Adobe Max at the Convention Center, and this is my last day here. I've asked for a late checkout, so I have a couple of hours left, and I want to take this time to have a bit of fun.
Okay, have fun. We'll have fun. I want to have fun too.
Now you guys know me by now, and wherever I go, my art supplies go as well. So I have loads of drawing stuff, a sketchbook, my Cintiq companion, and all that stuff. So I could definitely make the sort of stuff that you're used to seeing, or something a little higher quality, but you know what? I thought, let's have a bit of fun.
I'm ready. I'm ready. No, that's a little dramatic.
I want to see what I can make using only art supplies I can improvise with that are a part of my hotel room.
I think I know where this is going. Y'all too, right?
Could I make something cool if I didn't bring any of my drawing stuff back? I'm going to call this the Hotel Room Art Challenge, trademark pending.
Trademark pending. That was actually the first time I heard that. Like, I watched the video before, but trademark pending. Oh.
First off, from the cafe, I got some random ketchup and mayonnaise. Consider them sort of like a few spare coffee packets, so if I need more or need to mix it differently, I can do that. And I have some tea bags just in case, but then I realized it's probably one of the more valuable things. Now, this is one that was going to be quite difficult because I was almost resigned to using this, but there were some random sort of promo cards up here. One of them is plain white on the back. It's a nice and thick card. The problem is there's only one, and if I make a mistake, I'm in trouble. So I may save this and might even use my notepad to test, to sort of do a sketch on and then go to my card, just so I know what I'm working with.
Okay, I'm done. I'm done watching the video. I'm done. But I have those exact same tools in my kitchen. I'm done. I watched it for like a couple times. I try to understand things, and then I just get mad. Okay. Alright, guys. So this is about art challenges. Yay! Ain't gonna be too petty, trust me. When we think about art challenges, we, I guess, generally think about prompts that we artists can do to challenge our creativity. Challenges can really benefit people who generally can get out of their comfort zones, since staying in your bubble can sometimes can make your art become stagnant negatively. Art challenges such as your typical 3-marker challenge or the blindfold challenge are pretty fun and have good intentions. Now, if you saw the beginning of the video that I had when I saw Jazza's Hotel Art Supplies Challenge, by the way, it was almost acting, but you know, that was my initial reaction when I first saw it, okay? So don't think it was fake. That's how I felt in my head, so yeah. You had a good idea that some quote-unquote challenges that I come across on YouTube shouldn't even be called challenges. Like, really? Guys, I didn't know there was a Java mouse challenge, guys. Guys, look. Why is there a draw on the mouse challenge? Fuck, I'm so behind. Why I am so behind, guys? Like, I didn't know the things I basically did do are challenges, guys. Oh, made to YouTube videos. Wow. I'm gonna give you some reasons why. This video is no hate on Jazza, because I really do love his content, you know? In fact, his content about art really does benefit inspiring artists of all skill levels and ages, including my petty self. It's just that if you got limited art supplies like a pen and a notebook paper, for example, and use those tools to create art, even though in that video he used other stuff, but you know what I mean. It isn't a challenge. Many beginners and artists with no experience can doodle with those things easily. No, baby, drawing with a pen without an eraser is so hard. Bullshit. How can we correct the mistakes? My answer to that is to A, get a new piece of paper and try again, or B, keep going. How do you think artists who predominantly use ink do it? Like, no, without an eraser, okay? They don't cry because they didn't have an eraser and a pencil to correct their mistakes. There isn't an undo button for that, like with digital media. The fact of the matter is that having limited stuff is not the end of the world. Okay, let's go on a different route with art challenges. On my channel, I did a couple of challenges that I can do because they were accessible. They were the Crayola challenge and the greatest one of them all, the cheap art supplies challenge. I am going to go a little hard on these two because of how much passion I have about people who use those supplies. When I first attempted to do the Crayola challenge, I enjoyed it because I used the supplies I had. This is the same with my all-time favorite, CAS, or cheap artsy supplies challenge. Jump a few years after I did the Crayola challenge, and my perspective for challenges, like the two I mentioned earlier, changed. My thoughts on the Crayola one is pretty similar with Jazza's challenge, but with a twist. Artists like Lemia Crescent, for example, have been creating pieces with Crayola, or crayons, whatever, for a long time. Artists, particularly illustrators that have been making illustrations, should not be labeled artists who always make Crayola challenge pieces. I think in this YouTube art culture, we have forgotten what the word challenge meant, and we haven't really even called those things prompts, you know what I'm saying? Like, these challenges should really be called prompts, because we are making things, but with supplies. Hell, I don't even like labeling that. They shouldn't be labeled challengers or wherever, period. What I would consider to be challenging, quote unquote, if anything, is if someone who was always making sculptures or ceramics for many years all of a sudden create art that an illustrator would do normally. Not an illustrator who works with one dry media. I'm just using an example, guys. Don't freak out. Okay. To the next, and call that a YouTube art challenge that our millennial and Generation Z folks can do, la 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 la. And those are the people who generally watch the art YouTube videos, by the way, millennials and the people after, so don't. You can counter argue and say that artists that want to do the Crayola challenge want to try it because they absolutely never colored or crayons before. I understand that, but unless the majority of folks on this site live in a place where a crayon, for example, is non-existent, then I can't necessarily agree with that statement. As young kids, if you had a legit childhood that doesn't involve you going to child labor or slavery, we all had access to Crayola or brands like it, whether we are in preschool, pre-K, Head Start, or any other institution of learning, or at home. We generally had an idea on how crayons work. Unless you are artists like Lemmy, who are pretty much a god for knowing how to color a crayon. And for any of her newer followers, yes, she has done crayon work in the past. I honestly think she should do more of them, again, since that was one of the reasons why her older fan base followed her, like me. Because she was so different in that regard compared to the other pro-skill artists trained. I love saying that because it's true, you know. It's not mean, but they're professional, you know. Who want to work with the professional art supplies. Seriously, those crayon videos are so inspiring. Now that I'm on the cheap train, I can talk about the cheap art supplies challenge that I used to believe was the greatest art challenge that anyone could do. Remember, it's my opinion, guys, so it's not factual. One of my favorite YouTube artists that talks about art topics in the form of speed paints is Holly Brown. I talked about her before on the channel, obviously. And I'm gonna mention her again, since the content she posts is one of the main reasons behind these videos, along with the political and SJW/anti-SJW community on YouTube. She has made a video discussing about art challenges and why she believes that certain things shouldn't be labeled as such. I commented on that video talking about the cheap art supplies challenge, and it was clearly obvious based on the thumbs ups that people agreed. I'm going to say this on my channel too. The cheap art supplies challenge should not be cool, trendy video prop created by YouTube artists that always use good and expensive art supplies to create art. And to create art, use an excuse to use cheap stuff and call it bad or mediocre art supplies at the end. Not every art supply is honestly bad. It's the way you use it. So don't even call it bad if you don't know how to use it. So I see all over comment sections on YouTube that have artists feeling bad that their faves were able to use supplies that their main audiences use who cannot afford good shit and passively mock them. Remember, it's passive. It doesn't necessarily mean they're realizing it, but it's there. These kinds of comments aren't coming from me directly. People are feeling this way, you know. In my opinion, making something more, many people who cannot afford the high quality art supplies and call it a trendy thing to do is honestly pretty lame. I can relate to those people because for many years, until I got a decent job, I couldn't afford a drawing tablet, markers, high quality paper, and many other cool artsy things. I could only afford the things that you can generally get at places like Dollar Tree, Walgreens, Target, and even the cheapest places like the thrift store. But, you know, that's extremely rare to find art supplies, you know. To this day, I still use them and prefer them more at times than supplies that came from them art stores like Blake or Michael's. Buying cheap stuff is for the most part accessible, and they aren't too bad like many elitists make it to be. Now, not all you guys are elitists, or like come across that, but sometimes based on tones, it can. So I'm just saying, no tea, no shade. Even I sometimes come across that myself, so that was harsh. But you gotta admit it, rose art sucks though. Those crayons are terrible. But even then, there are folks who use rose art, and that's all they can afford. These groups of people aren't just kids who still live with their parents and in school though, but also people who can't even afford food and they have jobs. I know what you're all gonna say. We can just tell these people to save money and you can get Copics, but that ain't true for every person. Saving money when you're struggling is very difficult, and if an emergency comes up, you are forced to use those savings that you were going to invest in for another. Those are the sad realities when you can't afford things or live in a lower middle class family. And finally, we got to consider that some people don't have the privilege to just travel close by to go to the nearest art store. Luckily for me, I'm extremely privileged to live close to 3 Blicks and a Michael's and able to go to them via public transportation. I don't have to travel by car miles away or kilometers if you aren't American watching this video to a different city like many people have to. These previous few statements are connected to accessibility. Access is important to these people. That's what I want this community to realize about the demographic of people that watch art videos. There is an audience who cannot afford what many of us can, including myself. We need to include more artists that can create amazing art with the office supplies that are cheap constantly. Like constantly creating art like that, that's what I mean. I don't know if I came across that, but you know. If these types of artists can see that representation here in our community, then they can feel more included into this world, or the YouTube world, and feel a lot better about themselves as artists on YouTube, instead of making quote-unquote challenges like the cheap art supply challenge or the Helpful art supply challenge. Now, you know my passionate view about those particular challenges. I'm going to end it with this. These types of videos that are growing in our community have good and bad intentions. The people who created them are just trying to make their audience better, artists, and that's awesome. I would love to see more of those types of videos and fun prompts, but I feel like there are so many out there already that we don't need to make more. As artists, we are always challenging ourselves. Whatever is a concept, creating stories, writing music, or creating characters to make for ourselves or for role-playing purposes. I'm glad that there are a lot of prompts that people can attempt to do outside of YouTube culture and make a video about it. such as the Draw Again meme challenge, or even the color palette challenge, things that I've seen on Tumblr and on Facebook. Those I generally like too. But these art challenges I see, they got their good and bad perks too, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video. Despite the rant, I do know a cool challenge that people can do that's actually quite challenging in my opinion. It may not be challenging to some people, but for the general population, it could be. A small art YouTuber that's bigger than mine, obviously, named JadieAlissia, created this awesome challenge called the No Art Supplies Challenge. What I love about this particular one is that you are only making art not using art supplies. You are making art using nature. I totally recommend doing it because this is something that any artist, especially illustrators, could do, since most of us do not create pieces using the art side world, and doesn't involve coffee or ketchup like we saw at the beginning of the video that I could do in my house and not call it a hotel art challenge. We could all learn from it as well. Thank you guys so much for listening or watching this video, and comment below about art challenges in general and what do you think about them. I think I know a response to this based on what I said, and I apologize in advance if I said something that made you a little angry this time. I know I have said things in my other discuss videos that probably didn't tickle everyone's jammies based on those likes, but that's why I kept my comments open. So even if you guys are frustrated on the things I say, you could, challenge me with your disagreements, and maybe I'll think about what I say or what I think about certain things in the future, because that's the point of these videos as well. Not only you guys could talk to yourself, but you could also challenge the person that is stating the opinions in their videos. Maybe they'll change their mind, maybe they'll fix what their thought processes are, different things, and that's what we sometimes lack when we have disagreements in general. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you milk and eggs later.